So it takes about a month and a half for the mushrooms to reach this point from that first step you saw outside. So these are the two types we grow. This a lot of people are familiar with. We call it the ali'i mushroom here. Ali'i. Yeah. We actually trademarked that name. This mushroom is commonly known as the king oyster mushroom, or trumpet royale, or the king trumpet. So the Hawaiian word for chief or royalty is ali'i, so that's why we gave it the name.
Oh, okay. Ali'i, chief royalty.
And it originates from the Mediterranean, but it's widely cultivated in China, Korea, and Japan. And it's fairly common in like Japanese supermarkets actually. So this one is the piopini mushroom. Piopini, and the name sounds Hawaiian, but actually it's an Italian name. It's an Italian type mushroom.
Portobello.
Yeah.
Italian.
It sounds Italian, but I don't think that's actually Italian. So this ali'i mushroom, which is the king oyster, it's in the oyster mushroom family, I guess.
Beautiful.
And
I'll admit they look good enough to eat.
these guys soak in a lot of flavors, so they don't really have a standalone flavor on their own. But very good with sauces and stir fries, you know, things with intense flavors. They'll just soak that right up. The piopini has a more kind of nutty, peppery flavor. The cap and the stem actually has a different taste too. And I kind of compare the stems to eating bean sprouts.
Oh, nice.
Kind of crunchy. Yeah. So these guys will have a little bit more of a mushroomy flavor. Yeah. So a lot of mushroom growers, they'll use single-use plastic bags, and they'll throw them away each time. But by us using this over and over, we minimize the amount of waste that goes out to the waste stream.
So it's about, you said 50% eucalyptus, 30% corn cob, and 10% wheat bran.
Around there.
Yeah.
So here we have the machine that fills up each bottle evenly. Since we want the same yield, it's important that each bottle gets a consistent amount. There's an indentation that's made in the middle. That's where we insert the mushroom spawn later on. And each bottle will receive a little cap to prevent any kind of contaminants from going in there. Now, we basically fill up this dual door autoclave here. We can fit about 3,000 bottles at one time, and we'll basically cook it for about 2 hours at 250 degrees Fahrenheit. So it'll kill off any kind of competing mold, bacteria, pathogen, even the insects that get in, they'll all die off. And we basically prepare a sterile growing container for the mushrooms to grow out of. So this is actually the last step of the process after we harvest the mushrooms. We bring all the bottles out here, and by harvesting, what happens is we just grab the mushroom, break it off, and that's it. That's how we harvest. This machine has these brushes that will come up into the bottle and empty them out. This is our quote-unquote mushroom compost. Since the mushrooms have already taken up majority of the nutrients, we only use this once. There's actually a big mountain of this out back. There's a vegetable farmer in Pauilo that mixes 50% of this stuff, 50% cow manure, and that's basically his annual fertilization program. He's an organic farmer. And the bits of mushrooms there, they provide a lot of great nutrients for the microorganisms and soil life. Even the plants love it. You know, it's mostly carbon, but it does heat up, just that too. So, but it's good to add a lot of green stuff and yeah, organic matter.
3% bleach.
Basically monitoring each bottle to see whether or not there's any kind of contamination occurring. So this is the stack of contaminated bottles here that he weeded out. This first part removes all the caps, and this part scrapes off the top quarter-inch off the top. And for the Piopini variety gets a little spray at the end, but since this is the ali'i mushroom, they don't really need that much water. And you can see at the end here, we actually stack them facing downwards so the CO2 can trickle down. If we leave it upright, then the mushrooms will eventually suffocate. The mushrooms, and we remove the caps, we bring them into the grow room here. Basically, they're racked up, they're facing downwards because we still want the CO2 to trickle out. You notice that the floor is pretty wet. This is because we ran the humidifier to boost up the humidity to about 100%. And the incubation room is actually 75 degrees. The grow rooms are 10 degrees colder, so it's about 65, 64 degrees in the grow room. And it's really this wet and cold environment that the mushrooms will... You can see that the mushroom caps are starting to form. So as soon as they start forming, we'll be flipping over pretty much all the others. So you can see that this side of the room has already been harvested. And it looks like we just have this portion of the room remaining. We started our harvest on Monday, and by tomorrow it'll be completely harvested. All of the bottles will be brought outside, like saw, and
Start the process again.
yeah, start the process all over again.
How long does the harvesting take about?
Every week we're harvesting one room.
1 week it takes for a room?
Usually faster. It depends on the growth of the mushrooms too. Looks like this week the mushrooms are growing a little bit slower. So, but at any given week, we're basically harvesting or filling up a room, and most importantly, after harvest, we'll spend a couple days clearing out the whole room. So for all of our retail accounts, like the supermarkets and Costco, we'll make 4-ounce tills. The 8-ounce tills go to Costco. Keep about maybe a week and a half's worth of mushrooms here, but otherwise they just pretty much fly out the door, and the distributors that we work with, they'll ship it off to all of the stores and all of our accounts. Here we go. We have basically approach them with a bag of dehydrated Piopini mushrooms, and what we have is a brownie crisps, mushroom brownie crisps.
I knew it, chocolate.
These are the mushroom cookies. So So they all contain either bits of dehydrated mushrooms or powdered dehydrated mushrooms.
Oh wow, brownie crisp. Yeah, it tastes like a brownie. Oh wow.
This is sort of a Chex Mix coated in lehua honey. It has macadamia nuts and also coated in our mushroom powder.
And this one's a mushroom cookie, you said?
It has, I think, this one has, it's called the Delight Cookie. It has macadamia nuts, chocolate chips, and also bits and powdered mushrooms.
Oh wow.
I think, in my opinion, the chocolate kind of overpowers the mushroom flavor, you know? But that's what it is.
It's all right.
This is a mushroom lavash, so you can see the bits of mushrooms baked into it. I'm gonna go ahead and put mango butter on top of it. Mango butter contains mushroom powder. That's the mango one. And this is the lilikoi, which is the Hawaiian passion fruit. So when this is in abundance, a lot of the local people here make this butter.
And does that have a mushroom in it too?
Yeah, it all has mushroom powder in it. Great.
But it's also mild tasting. It's just right.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Lilikoi butter is fairly easy to make. You just extract the juice. There's a whole bunch of seeds in the lilikoi, but you just mix the juice with sugar, a lot of butter, of course, and you put in as that you want to heat up that mixture, and that's how you end up with the butter.